Oh, I do like a crumpet, oh, I do like a crumpet, oh, I do like a Crumpet Chronicle.
Hello, and welcome to the Crumpet Chronicle. I'm Steve, with me,
Jack Cook.
Yeah.
Your mate Jack.
My mate Jack, just Jack.
Yeah.
Just
How you
Jack.
doing, mate?
Not bad, mate. Captain America.
Yeah, we've just been to see Captain America Civil War,
Literally
Steve.
rushed back to do this.
Yeah.
Because we have nothing better to do.
Nope.
Nothing.
And also, if we put it on YouTube first, Steve, it will give our fledgling podcast potentially more views than anyone else.
Priorities. Right, we're just about 30 seconds in.
Yeah.
Right, if you're listening, we'll be doing non-spoilers to begin with.
Yeah.
Then spoilers.
Yeah.
Then probably a bit of speculation.
Steve, tell me, how long are we going to do non-spoilers for? Because people don't really give a shit about non-spoilers, or do they?
I'll put a time bracket in, but we'll probably do we'll do a little bit of preamble, probably 5-10 non-spoilers.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to spoil everything because so many things happened.
Yeah, we're also going to talk post-credit scenes.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah.
Because
But just for a safeguard, Steve. Sorry to interrupt there. No, I'm not sorry. No. Just if you haven't seen it yet, just don't listen at all. Anyway.
No, probably like and subscribe, and then come back.
Like and subscribe, Steve. Sure, but then come back. But yeah, you can probably turn off now and then come back once you've seen it. Trust me, if you're looking for witty banter. Accurate critique.
Yeah.
Steve, what words am I trying to say?
But basically, us in Britain, we got a week before America and quite a few other countries. So, unfortunately, we're your first choice.
Yeah.
You stuck with us.
Can you believe that? The UK is your first choice. The UK.
Nothing wrong with us. We're a kingdom and we're united. Well, at least for a little while. Anyway, Captain America.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Best movie it was great.
You were building up there for something big.
As I said to you as we left the cinema, I don't feel shortchanged in any way.
Nah, it was good. I thought the pacing was spot on.
Pacing was perfect.
Action was great. Mm-hmm. Many feels going on.
There was plenty of feels, mate.
I felt it in all my feels.
Yep.
You know, there was tears, there was laughter.
There was laughter, sure.
Yeah, it was a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
But really solid. I think it's probably their best. It's definitely in their top one.
I think it's the best. Yeah. I think it's the best Marvel film they've made.
Yeah, I think so. Everything was perfectly balanced. Everyone got a good go around on the older movie Ferris wheel.
Yeah, all of the characters really sort of got their 15 minutes of fame, as it were.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't that amount of screen time, but like everybody got to show their abilities. Yeah.
Yeah, you knew everyone got a fair deal.
Yeah.
No one was left out, which in the other movies they kind of have.
Yes.
Like the first Avengers, you saw nothing of Hawkeye.
No.
And then in Thor's often got a poor deal in Avengers and Age of Ultron, where he just went for a little swim for a bit that nobody understood. But this one, everyone got a good deal.
CGI that was used, there wasn't a huge amount of CGI, but the CGI that was used was really good.
Yeah,
I can't fault it.
The only minor thing maybe would have been Zemo for me. Hang on, is that a spoiler?
What? And I think people know that he's in it.
Yeah.
But we did say turn off.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
That'll be fine. Basically,
it'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, let's just...
But we'll come to that when we actually do eventually talk about the
we'll go on to the big
stuff.
thing.
Yeah.
But in the main, brilliant.
Brilliant.
If you like all the other ones, you're definitely going to like this
Yeah.
one. And we got to see 2 post-credit sequences as well.
Yeah, post-credit scenes.
Apparently they were going to do 3. I think the later releases, like America and maybe Australia,
like the real countries.
Yeah, the real ones, the ones that not our sneaky ones you got in first.
Yeah,
they've got another one.
Proper countries are going to get the real deal. But the 2 post-credit scenes that we did get,
interesting, led on to other things.
One of them was they were both. I don't know if this is spoilers. But
we'll just say they were good. They led on to future things.
They both led on to future things.
Yeah, it wasn't like a stupid throwaway one like the end of Iron Man 3 where him and Bruce Banner are sitting and talking.
I was going to say to you, one of the characters was... I mouthed it, by the way. Oh, there's actually a trailer on TV at the moment, Steve, of Civil War.
I've already seen all that.
Willie's already seen all that. One of the additional characters I think was class. Yeah. I think it's brilliant. Again, not going into detail too much, but I thought it was a great addition. I thought it was cast perfectly. I thought it was just great. I thought it was really, really good.
There was no weak link at any point, I don't think.
No.
Even Martin Freeman shows up for a bit. Considering he's got a considerable bit of pull and star power, he shows up for maybe 2 scenes and he's a bit smarmy.
Yeah, that's potentially a spoiler.
Nah,
I don't know.
Martin Freeman is simply just a man.
Yeah, I'm running out. I'm really running out of things to say without going into spoilers because mainly I need to get it all off my chest, Steve.
Well, we'll sum up in a non-spoilery way.
Yeah,
I thought it was brilliantly paced.
Oh, right?
I thought coming up to the last bit of the film, I was like, wow, is this it already?
Yeah.
But I didn't feel shortchanged because the pacing was that good. It always kept me engaged.
Yeah, same as well. I thought, because we obviously haven't actually talked about the film yet, because we're waiting to do the podcast. Yeah. We don't want to waste, all of our natural wittiness.
Yeah.
Steve?
Well, it's a finite resource.
Yeah, it's a finite. So, I thought it was pacing. The two sides as well, coming from a geeky side of things, were really well balanced as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because everybody pretty much knew what the sides were going to be. And some people were worried about one side being slightly overpowering.
On paper, Team Iron Man looked way more powerful, but they actually balanced out quite nicely.
And they did it basically in a very good way with two particular characters on Captain America's team, which really came to the fore.
Definitely.
And made it great.
Yeah. Right, let's blow the lid off this.
Let's blow the lid off.
Basically, great film.
Yep.
You're really going to enjoy it.
Yep.
The post-credit scenes are worth sticking about for.
Yep.
We saw one, which is they do a mid-credit one, don't they now?
Mid-coitus one, wasn't it?
A mid-coitus. They do a mid-coitus credit.
Yeah.
Credit scene, and then there's one right after.
Yeah.
Both are probably sticking around for if you care.
Yeah, definitely stick around for them. Watch the movie. Just go out and watch the movie. Give money to the big corporation that is Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, why not? They have everything else.
Yeah. Give them your money.
That's the one.
Steve, spoilers.
Yeah, right. We're gonna spoilers and everything.
Okay, turn off if you don't want to listen.
Yeah.
I know there's no one listening, but still,
it's worth putting out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's
Many
start.
things. Spider-Man. Let's go straight in with Spider-Man.
Okay, Spider-Man. Great.
Spot on.
Brilliant. The best portrayal of Spider-Man since actually ever. They haven't done a better one.
No, the suit looked great.
Yeah.
Well, Peter Parker was great, and so was Spider-Man.
Yeah, Holland.
Tom Holland really
did
brilliant. Well. Did really well.
He was class.
Well, like you said, we've only ever seen Tom Holland in The Impossible. Did you ever see The Impossible?
I never actually saw it. It's the one with Ewan McGregor in it.
It's the one with Ewan McGregor and the tsunami, and then he's like a nice kid that just gets wrapped up in a terrible, terrible thing.
Yeah.
And he was good.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing him in anything like that.
Right.
This, he was good. He you really got the sense that he was a kid, first off, and not like a man-child like Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, well, Andrew Garfield sort of was closer, but
still,
he was older. You knew he was older.
Yeah.
But
I didn't dislike Andrew Garfield, but
I thought his portrayal was alright. But this guy's going to be good, and they will do spin-off movies, as we'll talk about in his the post-credit scene.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. One of the post-credit scenes, the one immediately after. Immediately after the one at the end.
Yeah, the final post-credit scene.
After all the credits is Spider-Man in his room. He's got a load of tech upgrades and everything from Tony Stark.
Yeah,
and he's got playing with like one of his web shooters, or is it a watch or something?
It's like I think it's his web shooter, but it's got like additional shit on it because Stark built it.
And basically, there's a light coming out of it.
Yeah,
and then he shines it up to the ceiling.
It's like a holographic sort of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like the best laser pen you ever seen.
Yeah,
with a hologram.
Yeah,
pointing up to the ceiling, and it's got a Spider-Man logo, and then it looked like loads of different options and things going around it as well.
Could be. I think it's probably a communication device with Stark.
Yeah, so pretty much Spider-Man's kind of like an unofficial Avenger now, I'm saying.
He sort of is, yeah, and Stark's taking him under his wing.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Tony, I'm on first name basis now.
Yeah, you and Anthony.
Yeah. He's basically now at a level where he's sort of, with Spider-Man anyway, it's like he's almost training him, moulding him really, isn't he? Like, going forward. Because I think Isn't Downey Jr. confirmed now in the Spider-Man film? Yeah, he's getting about, mate. He's the wealthiest man. Yeah, he's going to be the most wealthy man. Is old Downey Jr. Yeah, but he, So Spider-Man, great. Yeah, we're bringing it right back to. There's so much to talk about. So much good stuff. Yeah, like the suit, by the way, that was designed by Stark. There was talk about who designed the suit. Well, it was designed by Stark. You briefly see Spider-Man's first suit. Yeah.
Which is like one he was doing, which is basically like a hoodie.
A onesie.
A onesie and some goggles that he had.
Yeah.
And Stark basically takes the piss and says, you need an upgrade.
Yeah.
Like, straight away.
Yeah.
The scene with them as well in his bedroom was brilliant.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
But his aunt as well is a MILF.
She's very moving. Marissa Tomei.
She was great.
She was.
Immediately, people noticed this because I wear glasses and you have to wear the 3D glass over top.
You were wearing the IMAX.
I thought it was Kobe Smulders sitting on the couch with Stark when when he first goes into Peter Parker's house, but it wasn't.
No,
it was that.
Yeah, exactly. And you said. It wasn't. It was Marissa Tomei.
She was good.
She was
a younger Aunt May.
Well, considering the first one was ancient, she was the lovable aunt, sort of looked like great aunt.
She's basically how old Peter Parker's aunt would be if Peter Parker was Tobey Maguire's actual age. So
like 100.
Yeah,
she was really old.
And the second one was a bit better.
Sally. Someone or other.
The one out of Lincoln.
The mum in everything. So
the mum and everything.
Mrs. Doubtfire,
she was alright.
Yeah, she was fine. Sally Field. But she ended up slagging off the Amazing Spider-Man. She didn't like it.
Well, I think they messed it up as well.
Yeah, they definitely
Number
did.
2. So, number 1 was good, but number 2...
Spider-Man, good things.
Best thing ever.
His action in the airport scene.
Oh... Class.
Yeah. Well, what we'll do is we'll retcon. We'll go back. We'll go back and just go through all the set pieces.
Yeah.
So it starts off, and the Avengers are avenging
in Lagos, in Nigeria.
Ah, nice. You remembered everything.
I can yes. See, come on.
Yeah, of course.
But there's basically a Wakandian group of people or delegate or something. I didn't quite pick up on that. Yeah, there's a group of Wakandian people in a building.
Yeah, and basically due to the Avengers' actions, they're taking down Crossbones, who was he was the bad guy from Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
and him and Falcon had like a big showdown at the end.
Yeah. Falcon
obviously got out of the collapsing building
at
the end of Winter Soldier. Crossbones was left in.
Crushed in a building.
Very, very crushed. Very, very much a broken man.
Yeah.
And so he's kicking off all kind of trouble.
Has he now got enhancements?
No, he just had specialist gear on.
He just had specialist gear on.
Basically, the result of that is there's a big explosion.
Yeah.
I think 17 people died and 11 of them were Wakandan, which is where Black Panther comes from. And so, as a result of this, the Sokovia Accords get made.
Exactly.
And Tony Stark gets confronted by a mother whose kid died.
Oh yeah.
In another avenging.
Sokovia, but he was an American guy who basically gone over there to build like homes or whatever for the poor people.
And so Tony Stark's feeling really guilty about everything they've done. Captain America's also feeling guilty and bad.
Yeah, but for different reasons.
Then the Sokovia Accords get presented.
Yeah.
And from there, basically, it's saying that the Avengers have to be monitored by the UN. Was it the UN?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the UN.
It was United Nations, yeah.
It had been a special council within the UN saying where they can and can't go.
Yeah, basically, and it's General Ross.
Yeah, Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah,
General Thaddeus.
He's back, Thaddeus. He basically is now like attempting to be the enforcer of the Avengers, basically.
Yeah, that's it.
Or basically being their chief.
Yeah,
representative to the UN.
Yeah, and so he's all for them signing up.
Yeah,
getting registered.
Well, of course he is, Steve. He's a military man. He's not, he's not a scientist.
Well, not only that, the Hulk tried to bang his daughter. If the Hulk was trying to bang my daughter, I'd be a little bit worried.
Yeah, but then an accord, would that stop the Hulk, Steve?
I don't think anything would stop the Hulk. I mean, some paperwork might.
Yeah. I don't know. Does the Hulk's penis?
It must do.
Yeah,
it must do.
But how big are we talking? Because it is a muscle, isn't it?
Well, you've seen
all of his muscles go massive.
Well, he must be twice in. Like, if you compare Banner to the Hulk,
is it three times bigger?
Mark Ruffalo to the Hulk, he's got to be 3 times bigger.
3 times bigger than your average man. So his penis, going by that law, Steve, is 3 times bigger.
Yeah.
So, not many women could grapple with that, could they? She-Hulk.
She-Hulk probably could. Because her vagina would exponentially expand.
Yeah. Or get tighter. Muscles get tighter when they get bigger, Steve.
We've appeared to have gone a bit of our usual tangent, thinking about
Captain America.
Yeah, let's go back. Let's just roll on back to that.
Basically, while we were talking about set piece and everything, it went through how, basically, long story short, Captain America didn't agree with these because he felt that, they weren't manipulated by any agendas if they stayed independent as the Avengers.
And he thinks they're best hand their own, but Tony Stark says it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Basically, the battle lines start to get drawn, arguments happen.
Yeah.
And then I told you, God, there was a lot to cover in this. And then basically, Bucky shows up again.
Yes.
There's an incident where when they're signing the Sokovia Accords, a bomb goes off and people say that it's Bucky.
Yeah. Well, Steve, they did take a picture of him, mate, and it was his face.
It must have definitely been him and nobody else.
Yeah,
nobody else.
Exactly.
And so, from that, Black Panther's dad dies, who was at Black Panther's there signing the Accords.
Yeah, Black Panther's dad, by and by, is the king of Wakanda.
T'Chaka.
Or T'Chaka.
He's T'Chaka, and Black Panther is T'Challa.
T'Challa. Yeah.
I mean, I like how you actually tried to put a little bit of a spin on that. Yeah, it's respectful.
Yeah, well, I've been to Africa, mate, so...
You haven't.
You're right.
Coast doesn't count.
Okay.
And so then from there, Black Panther... what's her name? Black Widow.
Yep.
And Tony Stark decide that they're going to go after Bucky.
Oh, yeah.
Captain America goes to save Bucky. And there's this big chase sequence where Black Panther fights Bucky. Captain America's trying to save him.
Yeah, that's essentially in the trailers you see when they're running through that tunnel.
Yeah, that's Black Panther chasing down Bucky. Like, he's gone... Like, he's doing it all by himself.
And they can run at, like, wicked speed, by the way.
Yeah, they're outrunning Audis. Many Audis.
That was the only thing I thought was maybe... not weird, but a little bit funny how... Maybe in Germany, because this happens in Germany, doesn't it?
No,
or in Vienna, sorry.
What does?
In Vienna.
What happens?
The running scene, where they're chasing.
Oh, yeah. Well,
because I don't know whether the speed limit there is like 10 or 20 miles an hour through that tunnel, but they were running faster than cars, because the Black Panther jumps on
Black
one.
Panther was probably the fastest between them. Right,
Winter Soldier was pretty spry, mate.
Well, it's Winter Soldier running away from everyone. But then Black Panther is chasing after
Winter Soldier,
and then Captain America's just trying to keep up.
Yeah,
and so they're all just blasting along.
But they're all roughly the same kind of enhanced, aren't they? They're all basically max human potential, aren't they?
Yeah, Black Panther, obviously, they'll delve in a little bit more in the solo movie.
Yeah,
who was excellent as well.
Oh, by the way, the casting for him was class.
Yeah, he was really good. I cannot remember what his name is.
What, the actor?
Yeah, you had it all on your phone. You were all ready to go. He was really good.
Yeah.
And so, basically, they all end up getting captured.
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah. I think he's going to be really good and a great addition to everything.
Yeah, he is.
So they all end up getting captured and taken in. Bucky's captured.
Yep.
However, at the same time, this mysterious guy he finds a ledger belonging to Hydra.
Ooh.
Mystery ledger.
Heath?
Not...
A ledger of Heath?
Sad times, mate.
Sad times. It's a long time ago.
So he gets this mystery Heath ledger. He gets a mystery ledger, which allows him to control the Winter Soldier by saying a bunch of code words. When Bucky's captured, he ends up getting into Bucky's room and then relaying the code to him, so he's then under Bucky's under his control.
Yeah.
This ex-Hydra guy, we assume he's ex-Hydra or something like that.
Yeah.
Then they end up...
Should we just say it's
Zemo?
It's Zemo. It's Baron Zemo.
Helmut Zemo, who is Baron Zemo.
He's a bit of a fucking helmet as well, anyway.
He's a complete and utter helmet. Yeah, that's what he acts like. Yeah. And so Bucky breaks out, causes more havoc. Now, how does it go from there?
Well, basically, as soon as Zemo gets control of Bucky and everything...
everything goes to shit. Everyone tries
everything goes to shit, because Bucky then... There's that scene where they capture... Because they obviously capture Bucky after the chase scene.
Yeah.
Basically, after the chase scene, Captain America... Black Panther and Bucky all get taken into sort of custody.
Yeah,
and UN basically custody, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're all at the same place, and so they're all there, and they're all trying to stop him.
And Zemo comes in to not interrogate, but basically he's meant to be a psychological
a psych evaluation.
Evaluator.
He lies.
Basically kills the guy who should be going to evaluate Bucky, but he does it instead.
Yeah, and so from there, all kind of chaos.
That's when
Bucky then tries to escape. Captain America manages to subdue him by hanging on to his helicopter as he's trying to escape.
Yep.
Chris Evans, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, apparently
specimen.
He must have really bulked up for this.
Oh, yeah. Well, they were all pretty... I mean, I thought even Winter Soldier, Bucky was... he looked buff as well, mate.
To be fair, they're the biggest movies in the world. You've got to look pretty trim for them. But basically, Captain America tries to hold on to his helicopter as it's going away.
Yeah.
He manages to down the helicopter and... capture Bucky unconscious.
Yeah.
Next thing we know, Bucky's locked. Well, he's managed to contain him in a garage.
Yeah.
And he's managed to pin
using
down his
what
arm.
looks like a large vice.
He's viced him up.
He's G-clamped him to himself.
Yeah, he's G-clamped him to himself. He can't just rip that shit off. And that's the scene you see at the end of Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Which, did you see that one? Where
that's the post-credit scene in Ant-Man where they're talking to him. Him and Falcon are talking to him.
Yeah.
and it basically is straight on from there.
Yeah, and Bucky then goes on to say how there's 5 other potential Winter Soldiers out there.
Yeah.
And this guy, Zemo... Is it Zeno? Is it Zeno or Zemo?
Zemo.
I think it's Zemo.
Yeah, Baron Zemo.
Yeah. He is trying to get these other Winter Soldiers who can operate in like, secret... And they're stealthy. They're pretty much undetectable. They're pretty much it's like 5 Buckies.
5 Buckies, but maybe even more powerful.
Better. And he reckons that they could pretty much, if someone controls all 5 of them, they can take down everything.
Yeah,
they can take down everything. So
what? Make it worse than it already is, Steve? Don't think so.
No, not in this current climate. Satire. You won't get that anywhere else.
Nowhere else.
Probably everywhere else, and to a better quality.
Yeah.
So that then signs up. That's the big conflict. The conflict isn't about that we sign up for these Sokovia Accords or not.
No.
It's Captain America trying to prove that Bucky's innocent and that he didn't kill these people. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to stop these brand new Winter Soldiers under the control of Zemo.
Yeah.
Zemo? Yeah, I'm going to call him Zemo.
Yeah, Baron Zemo, right?
Yeah. From waging war. However, at the same time, Tony Stark and all of Team Stark, they're trying to bring him in.
Yes.
They're trying to bring them all in.
Uh-huh.
Which eventually escalates. Tony Stark says, right, we're going to need more people to bring in Captain America and whoever. Captain America then goes, yep, we're going to need more people. And that's when you eat your teams. When you eat your teams all
They first start to shape up there.
They assemble. They each get their Avengers.
Yeah.
It is Zemo. Z-E-M-O.
Yeah, right. Z-E-M-O.
And so, then, basically, it all culminates on this airport scene.
Yep.
Which is... just fantastic. It's the best set piece Marvel have ever done.
I became quite taut in the trouser department there.
In the words of James Blunt, I had a semi by the sea.
Yep.
That was pretty fantastic. And so you had Captain America and Co. are trying... I can't even remember why they're there now. Why are they there? Why's Captain America? I think they're trying...
they want to get the Quinjet, because the Quinjet is, for some reason, Steve, in this German airport, just off Berlin.
Yeah,
and
they're trying to get that so then they can go to Siberia, where the rest of the Winter Soldiers are.
And to cut off Helmet or Baron Zemo.
You don't want to cut off your helmet, mate. That's
apparently they did.
Apparently they can't get enough of that. That's not well.
Hulk's
helmet. I tell you.
Hulk's helmet.
A different thing altogether.
Yeah. So they basically go, and this airport scene, Steve, I've got to tell you, pant browning moment.
I mean, literally, right. Okay, so
browning.
On one side you got Captain America.
Yep.
War Machine.
Yep.
Black Widow.
No. What are you talking about? On one, Captain America's not on War Machine side.
Sorry, no.
I got
all confused.
Tony Stark, Iron Man, with Steve.
War Machine.
War Machine.
Oh, I'm struggling there.
You are there.
I'm all superheroed out. So, Iron Man.
Yep.
War Machine.
Oh, yeah.
Black Widow.
Ooh.
Black Panther. Double black.
Yep.
They're double out there.
Oh, yeah.
They're double
They're double black there, mate.
And then...
Let's not forget old Spidey.
And then Spiderman.
Yep.
And The Vision.
The Vision.
Which is... That's
pretty hardcore team.
That seems pretty...
Steve, what team could possibly compete? Oh, hang on. Captain America's got a team.
Captain America's got a whole team.
Oh, go on.
You got your Cap.
Oh, yeah.
You got your Falcon.
Oh, no.
You've got the Winter Soldier / Bucky.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
You've got Hawkeye. Just shows up. Comes out of retirement.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Ant-Man.
Oh.
And Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Bitch, mate. Scarlet Fit.
She did really well in this as well.
She did, mate.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. I was talking before to one of my mates about like the sides seem a little bit uneven, but if people really know, Scarlet Witch is potentially one of the most powerful characters there, but she's not fully developed, Steve. And I don't mean in that way. I mean her powers are not fully developed.
Well, there's a big event. Quick side note on Scarlet Witch. She's actually a mutant in the actual canon. Her and Quicksilver are the children of Magneto.
Yep.
And Scarlet Witch in the comic books, she ends up getting with Vision. Her and Vision get together and they make a little android-y witch baby.
Ooh.
Yeah. A bunch of alternating reality shit happens where they end up losing the baby. I think they genuinely lose it. It doesn't die.
They misplace it.
Yeah, but she thinks her misplaced baby is dead. And then she says, we're using her power. She's so enraged and so angry. She goes, right, that's it. No more mutants. And she wipes out every single mutant.
Jeez.
She loses her fucking rag.
Sony would be gutted, wouldn't they?
They would. I mean, that's everything they got.
Oh,
that's all they got.
God.
I'd be gutted as well. No more Deadpool.
Yeah.
Disappointed.
So
and so her and Vision are like the two most powerful. She's got a lot of potential.
And the cool thing is, right, they've already started this kind of little romance between them two, because there's a bit of flirtation, mild flirtation, and a bit of interest there.
Friendship, they're in a lot of paprika banter.
Yeah, they talk about paprika. He sort of wouldn't let her leave because he was supposed to be guarding her, so she couldn't leave this compound, basically, because Tony Stark was trying to hire her. He was trying to acquire her.
Yeah, and she weren't having anything.
She weren't having any of it. So they're on opposing sides, but they're not really... There's no animosity between them. By the way, there's not really any animosity between any of the sides here.
Not really.
They don't hate each other.
No, they're just trying to stop each other. Yeah. Like none of the blows are to kill. No one's trying to kill the other person. The only person who was originally was Black Panther towards Bucky.
Because he thought that Bucky had killed...
responsible for his dad.
Yeah, but what we will say now is it was actually Baron Zemo that killed Black Panther's dad with Bucky's face mask on.
Through the cutting power of a wig.
Yes, and prosthetics. Probably built by Weta Workshop. Weta Workshop.
Great work. Love
that work. New Zealand's best export, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
They're everywhere now, aren't they?
Yeah, the cards getting up.
Weta.
So everyone's motivation. Captain America's there trying to stop...
this policy, not policy.
No, not policy. No, he's
Accord.
He's against the Accords, trying to go get Zemo and try and get the
very much sees the bigger picture. Does old Cap there?
He's taken Bucky with him as well.
Yep,
and Falcon.
Oh yeah,
nice little bromance he's got there with the three of them.
I have to say there was quite a bit of comic relief going on there between those three.
Yeah, that was good. So they're all there trying to do the same thing.
Yep.
They got Scarlet Witch. Well, then there's the thing. They get Hawkeye in.
Ooh.
Which I think Hawkeye did excellent.
Yeah, he did.
It's the best we've ever seen.
Yeah.
He actually subdued the Vision for a bit.
He did actually, didn't he?
Basically, the Vision's, like we said, the Vision's guarding Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
And Hawkeye breaks her out. Yeah. Which, you're going up. First off, Scarlet Witch needs Hawkeye's help to get away from the Vision. Right?
Well, yeah.
Well, he kind of gives her the motivation.
But he actually goes to get her. I don't think she had any real interest in leaving.
She was just a bit pissed off.
Yeah. But he's got these cool little arrow things that shoot sort of lightning.
Well, he makes like a sort of lightning arm. Basically, he gets in the facility and he manages to distract the Vision with an explosion. He goes in and goes, right, Wanda, Scarlet bitch.
Yep.
Right, come on, we're getting out of here.
Yeah.
She hesitates for a bit, then the Vision shows up.
Yeah.
And he goes to fight him, and the Vision just goes, "Oh, look, Barton, you got no chance here, mate."
Yeah.
And he's correct. Yeah. Barton's like the bottom one.
Yeah. Like, he has no enhancements.
No, he's got nothing. And then but just before he shows up, he puts 2 arrows either side of the room, and when the Vision walks in the middle, he manages to subdue him. And I was like, Vision's fucking hardest boy, and you've managed to stop him. Good for you.
Yep.
Vision breaks out, and then they both try and convince Wanda to go one way or the other. They actually do have a little fight, but Vision's just all over him.
Yep.
And then eventually Scarlet Witch steps in, decides she wants to leave, stops the Vision with her weird red mystical powers, and throws him
through the floor, like many, many, many miles,
like a long way away
into the ground, into the earth.
And she does say sorry, which is nice enough.
She goes, "I am sorry. I do this." That's typical Sokovians, really.
Yeah, that is pretty much it. And then they go to meet up with Captain America, but along the way, Hawkeye also picks up Ant-Man.
Oh, the scene with Ant-Man was pretty cool. Like, because basically you'll notice when you watch it. Well, you've already watched it, but there's a part where Captain America basically says, "We need all the help we can get," and Falcon says, "Oh, I might know a guy." And he goes, "Oh, I know a guy," and then nothing said of it.
That was your coolest Falcon voice.
That was. And then they open a van and Scott Lang is there.
Yeah.
Or Ant-Man.
And almost every line that comes out of Ant-Man's mouth is hilarious.
Hilarious, yeah.
Like every single one.
Like, mate, Rudd is just the boy.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. By the way, we can't move on, Steve, without discussing it. The airport scene.
Well, real quick, I just want to make sure we know why everyone's there. Okay, and I think that's pretty much that's Captain America's side.
All right, okay,
they're all there. Iron Man's is pretty simple. Iron Man wants to stop Captain America bringing him in.
Yep.
War Machine's there to help.
Yep. He's Iron Man's Falcon, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah.
Bestest buddies, bestest friendest Everest.
Oh, best friends for life.
Scarlet Black Widow is always also there. God, there's too many names, too many colours and animal combinations.
Yep. But Scarlett Johansson, or the Black Widow,
spot on again.
She's spot on again, but Steve,
tricky.
Her motives don't always appear clear.
Oh no,
they
don't.
We'll get there. brilliant.
So she's there supporting Tony Stark, thinking that Captain America should come in.
Yeah.
Black Panther wants to stop the Winter Soldier and get a hold of him.
Yeah, he does.
Then you've got Spider-Man.
Ooh.
Spider-Man, who, he's basically him and Tony Stark. When they're talking about getting in new recruits, this is when he goes to meet
Peter.
He goes to meet Peter Parker.
Yep.
And we're not sure how he knows of him, but we've seen that he's had previous footage of him.
Yeah.
And he's like kind of pieced it all together, figured out. I don't know how he's figured out that that's Peter
That's
Parker.
the only thing that's unclear. But Tony Stark's got all these little. He's fat. Nothing gets past him, Steve.
Exactly.
You know? So
and so basically, he's gone to go meet Peter Parker. They talk about all his motivations.
Yeah.
He likes him.
Yep.
So he decides to give him some new tech and bring him along. And so Spider-Man's there helping out.
that was a really cool scene.
That was
as well.
another great scene. Because first off, before they even begin, that's it pretty much at the beginning. It's them 5 versus Captain America 6.
Yeah.
And they actually do talk at first. They actually talk and go, right, don't do this. Unlike, say, another superhero movie where they fight.
It's
say,
more
Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, where they don't think to just communicate with each other.
The first thing they do is just threaten each other, then they start fighting. These guys, they actually talk it out and they just go, right.
Well, they put the civil in Civil War, Steve.
It literally could not be more of a civil war.
Yeah. It was really civil,
Not
wasn't
only
it?
is it internal, it is very civil.
Yeah. Steve, can I please talk about the fight at the airport?
Let's go for it. Basically, the talks break down, Spider-Man appears, and then all of a sudden, everyone appears, and it's just chaos.
Yeah, the battle lines are drawn. Each has got their own motivation.
Which is it's funny that the airport scene, which is the biggest set piece Marvel have ever done, I think.
Oh, it was huge.
Yeah, it's huge. So the thought that must have gone into that, it's at the end of Act 2.
Yeah.
It's not the big finale, which I quite like, because then the actual finale is a bit more intimate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the airport scene.
Brilliant.
Right, you had... Right, I'm just trying to think of your best moments. First off, Ant-Man on top of... He gets fired from one of Hawkeye's arrows at one point.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And he ends up inside Tony Stark's armour, just ripping it apart.
Little tiny bloke just pulling off leads and everything.
And Tony Stark can hear him talking. And one of my favourite lines, he just goes... who's that voice? Who can I hear? And it's Ant-Man. He just goes, it's your conscience.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
I've been missing for a long time.
Yeah.
Messes up a load of his armour. And then... Just Spider-Man fighting.
I'll say the Spider-Man fight with Cap is pretty cool because
and Bucky and
Bucky
and Falcon as well.
Bucky and Falcon square off. Bucky and Bucky and Falcon. No, they're on the same side.
No, but that's the thing. They're fighting against Spider-Man.
Against Spider-Man, yeah.
And
Spider-Man bosses them both, really.
He's like meant to be 15 years old.
Yeah, but he's a wiry little.
He
devil,
is a
right?
wiry little bugger.
And the tables sort of turn in Iron Man's towards Iron Man's team because basically Falcon and Bucky sort of get subdued a bit by Spider-Man. They get sort of glued to the floor with his webbage.
That's it. All the webbage. We assume it's
the Scarlet Witch is not really much going on there. Her and Vision are just sort of
this is the thing. Vision doesn't show up until about halfway through.
Yeah.
Basically, they have a little pre-brawl, and then they all face up. It's the big scene that we've all seen in the trailers where they're all facing off against each other. And then Vision, like with his mind gem, just blasts a line.
Yeah.
And they have one last little chat, one last little discussion.
Yeah.
Civil in the Civil War.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they just go,
it all kicks off.
That's on. And then that's the huge scene where you see everyone
run towards each other. Oh, by the way, Barton and Scarlet Witch had a cool... Because it was human versus human.
Black Widow.
What did I say?
Scarlet Witch.
Sorry,
I know.
Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson.
That's another thing as well.
Johansson. Yeah.
They're fighting, but they're like...
They're talking about it.
Yeah, they're holding back their punches.
Yeah, they're not punching. Each other. Actually, Scarlet Witch, got it right this time, didn't I, Steve? Scarlet Witch?
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch. She actually says to Barton...
No, Black Widow.
No, Scarlet Witch, after the fight between Black Widow and Barton, she gives basically Barton a bit of a bollocking and says, you're holding back your punches, Barton. And he goes, yeah, but it's my mate, Natasha. And they don't really... There's no animosity in their fighting. It's really, it's quite a good scene.
That's the way between most of it, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, when
you never got like that proper. There's no point anyone until the end.
Yeah,
but there's other than Black Panther wanting to take down Winter Soldier, like we said. There's no animosity. Animosity.
Yeah, but Spider-Man, I just thought was really, really cool because he was like, when he arrived, and he sort of did a little salute to Cap. He went, "Hey, Cap!"
Yeah, he's equipping the whole way through.
And the bit where he goes up to the Winter Soldier and goes, "He got a medal arm, dude. That's awesome!" Like, I just thought Peter Parker was really well cast all around,
and he's there for the whole fight as well, which I thought was excellent.
Yeah,
and then as the fight goes on, they pretty much decide that not everyone's going to be able to make it to the Quinjet.
Oh yeah.
So they basically come up with a plan where. Captain America's team come up with a plan where Bucky and Captain America, they head towards the Quinjet and the others act as a distraction. Ant-Man
comes to the party.
Ant-Man goes, right, I'm going to come up with something, wait for my signal, then make a break for it.
Yep.
And Ant-Man turns into Giant Man, which is his other form. And that is
brilliant.
Spot on. It looks so good.
And he catches, like, as soon as he turns into Giant Man, he grabs Rhodey, like, out its
like, this is grabs so cool.
And Rhodey's just like, the little guy's become the big guy. And then he just throws him, doesn't he?
And so he's their big distraction.
Yeah.
And obviously the fight's still going on. They come up with a way to take him down. Spider-Man's idea.
Great little nod towards The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, have any of you seen that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back?
That's Spider-Man's words.
Yeah, and it's just like, how young is he? How young is this little kid?
Yeah.
And they basically tie up his legs, push him over.
Yeah.
AT-AT style.
Oh, fuck yes, Steve.
If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah.
And
as if Wedge and Dak had done it themselves, mate. Oh, not Dak. Jansen.
Jansen? You go with Jansen?
Jensen or Jansen? Wedge's co-pilot. Wedge's, tail gunner. I think it's called Jansen. I'm going to go with Jansen.
Go with Jansen, that's fine. You know.
Yeah, but they didn't say, "Whoa, that got him." They didn't say that.
No, they didn't. So they take him down, and then Cap and Bucky are making a break for it, and then the Vision, who's been about. You never see him really kicking that much.
Well, I think him and Scarlet Witch are a bit tied up with each other.
Yeah, they're just
maybe fornicating. We don't really know. They don't do a heck of a lot in that. There's a bit where Scarlet Witch stops because Vision cuts down a big tower
because he sees them running.
He sees them running to the Quinjet, and Scarlet Witch catches
the tower. And then he attacks her. Again, they have a little brawl. Bucky and Cap make it through to the plane.
Yeah.
Vision and Scarlet Witch again just apologise to each other.
Yeah, they do. Everything's very civil.
It is. But there's still the tension and still everything else. They make it to the Quinjet. Black Panther nearly catches them, but then at the last minute, Black Widow.
Ooh, shows her true colours, mate.
All unclear. She ends up attacking Black Panther with her little electric things and subdues him enough for Cap and Bucky to make it all.
So essentially changes her side, sort of, from Stark's side to Cap's side, although she doesn't really do it officially. She just can't let Cap down.
No, because she likes Cap.
Agent 13 doesn't show up in that fight.
No, but
it's a bit misleading in the in the trailers and everything.
But she's providing inside access.
Yeah, she's providing inside knowledge and access basically to Bucky and Steve.
Yeah.
Falcon and Steve.
Yeah. Which is good, it's fine. That's a supporting role.
Her and Steve have a little kiss there.
Have a little kiss, he does alright. That's the first
Which provides one of the funniest scenes actually where it just goes they're in this little Volkswagen Beetle.
Undercover.
And Bucky, who's sitting in the back, says to Falcon, "Hey, can you move your seat forward?" And Falcon just goes,
no. And then later on he just tells him he hates him.
Yeah.
And then, but when Steve gets his kiss, when Captain America gets his kiss, they're both there just like, well played, well played.
Nodding like bros, mate.
Yeah, nodding like Churchill, the nodding dog.
Yep.
Good for Cap.
That's only a funny joke for people in the UK, Steve. So well done for narrowing our demographic.
I know, right? Narrowing down them 60 people. 60's ambitious.
60's fucking ambitious, mate.
Well ambitious.
Half it again and divide it by 3.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, nice.
5. That would make 5, Steve.
Good. You did the maths.
Of course I did.
Then, they get away, and then the last part of the airport scene is Iron Man and War Machine follow after the Quinjet.
Ooh.
And Falcon provides a bit of cover, messes around with Stark and Rhodey.
Yep.
And then the Vision goes to take down Falcon with his mind gem, this blast.
I think he goes to take down
Falcon.
Oh, he does,
he goes to take down Falcon. Falcon dodges it, and he ends up hitting War Machine. Cheeky bit of friendly fire. Not so civil.
No. Gets him straight in the arc reactor of his suit.
Oh, right in the arc reactor.
Right in the arc reactor.
Rhodey's there, just... Ow! Yeah. He's holding his chest. One of them. He hits the ground.
Plummets to the earth. There's a pretty cool scene where Falcon sort of realises, hang on a minute.
Yeah, Falcon and
Iron Man both shoot towards him to try and save him.
Neither of them get him.
Neither of them get there in time.
Plummets.
Yep.
Turns out, afterwards, Rhodey may be paralysed.
Yep.
He's in a right state. Doesn't die.
No one.
No one dies. Yeah, we'll throw that in there.
We'll get off first. No one dies in this film.
Which I was very surprised with.
No. Except for Black Panther's dad.
Sucks to be that guy.
Yeah, he was the king, man.
He was.
Long live the king. Anyway,
we did.
God save him.
And so, basically, Act of N2, everyone's a bit shook up. Vision's all, very sad that he shot down Rhodey. Then Act 3, everyone ends up in Siberia. Tony Stark finds out... all the Avengers, all of Captain America's Avengers end up in prison.
Yep.
And then... Which, seems a little bit shit.
When
I came out of... Hawkeye come out of retirement, ended up in, like, weird floaty water jail.
I'll say here, basically, it's a prison at sea.
Yeah.
Sort of submarine thing. But one thing we haven't mentioned yet, Steve, if I could briefly mention it, Martin Freeman's character.
Oh, you did mention him briefly. Basically, he acts as... Well,
he's sort of like a liaison sort of thing.
Between the government and
sort of mainly towards Stark. But
his role's really small.
Yeah, it is quite small.
Literally could have been anyone.
He's hardly on screen. Still, again, typical deadpan.
Freeman. Yeah, just Freeman, just usual Freeman up.
But he's Everett Ross, isn't he?
That's it.
So I think in the comics, Everett Ross is more of like he's an ally of the Black Panther, isn't he?
I think
he's
so.
Mainly in the Black
Panthers.
I
think he's going to be in the Black Panther movie as well. But so they're all in the prison, who's looked over by...
Yeah.
It's on TV again.
Yeah, another trailer.
Yeah, we've already seen all this.
Yeah.
And then, they're all locked up.
Yep.
So that's Ant-Man, Hawkeye, Falcon, and Scarlet Witch.
Yep.
So Tony Stark goes to see him and goes, look, sorry you're all banged up. I was trying to do the right thing. Blah, blah, blah.
But you broke the law.
You broke the law.
Yeah.
Hawkeye's livid. Absolutely livid.
Hawkeye is not happy, mate.
And basically...
he tells him where to go, doesn't he?
Iron Man tells him where to go, and he goes, right, you got to go help Captain, but you help him as a friend.
Yeah.
They end up in Siberia. Cap and Bucky get there first.
Yeah.
They're going through the facility. Then all of a sudden they go through a door. Stark's already there.
Yep.
And he goes, right, I'm here as a friend. It's a truce.
Yeah, because he found out that
Bucky
didn't cause the explosion in the UN, which killed Black Panther's old bloke.
That's it. Oh, Black Panther sneaks there as well.
Oh, Black Panther sneaks there as well. He went there to... Actually, he followed him in another Quinjet. He followed Iron Man.
Oh, in his own little jet, didn't he?
In his own little jet to Siberia.
The Panther jet.
The Panther. We'll call it the Black Wing?
Yeah.
The Black Wing. It's not the Black Wing. I'm just calling it that.
They call it the Black Wing.
We'll call it the Black Craft. I'm saying the Black Panther.
Black Craft.
World of Black Craft.
That's literally where I'm going. Anyway, whatever the case.
And he overhears Stark say to Cap...
Yeah.
I know that Bucky's innocent, and at that point, Black Panther basically there's a big zoom in his face, and he tilts his head in a very catty way, in a very catty way, and sort of goes, "Oh, I guess he's innocent then." Exactly. I think after that, basically, Zemo opens a little sort of hatch because he's already arrived. Can we just explain this? We've been completely not clear.
No, we're good. They go to Siberia.
The area they're in. The compound they're in is basically the place where these other Winter Soldiers were.
Yeah, and
Zemo was already there.
Yeah, as far as we know, Zemo's plan, and that's as far as Captain America and Bucky knows, his plan is to go there and get this powerful team of elite assassins and these elite soldiers, so then he can do God knows what. When they all get there, Zemo's already there, but all the Winter Soldiers are dead. All the new ones are all...
Bullet in the head, Steve.
And he claims they're already dead when he found them. And then he goes... I had another plan. He then reverts all three of them.
Yeah.
Cap, Bucky, and Iron Man. They diverts them all to a TV screen, and it shows footage of the Winter Soldier killing Tony Stark's parents.
Oh.
Which was, I thought, it was a brutal scene.
It was a really brutal scene.
He basically he causes a car crash.
Yeah.
And he then punches Howard Stark to death.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know what.
It sort of goes off before... He just strangles...
Yeah, he just strangles. Oh, wait, let's assume, because all Starks... I'm going to go for Martha Stark, because they're all called Martha.
Yeah, they're all called Martha.
Every single
he strangles Martha Stark.
That's it. And
Martha, by the way. Martha.
Make her a friend. That's what Martha means.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then Iron Man just fucking loses it. Doesn't care anymore, decides he's killing Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Fight goes on for a long ass time. They all forget about Baron Zemo. And then they keep fighting, and they're fighting through the whole facility.
Some of that is pretty brutal.
Yeah, another good fight. Again, they're really out for blood. At the same time, Baron Zemo is outside. Black Panther, who's kind of decided, right, I'm not into any of this. He hears everything.
Yep.
He then goes up and confronts Zemo.
Yep.
Zemo, it turns out, isn't a Hydra agent or nothing like that.
No.
He is someone who was outside of Sokovia when the attacks happened. He thought he was safe, but turns out his dad
his
wife and child all died.
Yeah.
And so he decided that he wanted to take down the Avengers.
From within.
From within.
Yeah.
And he realised he's not strong enough to do it himself.
Yeah. So he manipulates them.
So like a little bitch.
Yep.
He goes and manipulates and decides he's going to set up Captain America versus Iron Man, the two frontmen really. And he decides that he'll bring them down from within.
Yeah.
He then confesses this to Black Panther. Black Panther goes, oh, well, that was a bit stupid.
Yeah.
He goes to kill himself. Black Panther stops him from killing himself.
Yeah.
And then goes, he shouldn't be vengeance. Vengeance has been driving me for too long.
Yeah.
And so that's that done.
But basically, Zemo ends up in Martin Freeman's...
Martin Freeman's hand.
In his custody, basically, in a cell sort of thing that looked a lot like Bucky's.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
After they fixed that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to the main fight.
Back to the fight.
Back to the main fight. Iron Man is holding his own. And then it gets to this... They get into like this weird little cellar, like basement-y bit, overlooking some stuff.
Oh, which was a great scene where it was basically from Iron Man's perspective and POV.
Yeah, and he's trying to...
Captain America is just kicking the shit out of him.
They both are.
And he asks his gal Friday to analyse Captain America's fighting style, and she goes, "You can't beat him in hand-to-hand combat."
That's a nice one. That's a nice Irish.
But then he assesses him.
Well, he manages to get Cap away. He just manages to subdue him.
Yep.
And then him and the Winter Soldier have it out.
Yep.
The Winter Soldier pushes Iron Man up against the wall.
Yeah.
He then goes to take out his arc reactor, at which point Iron Man fucking loses it and blasts his arm off.
Yeah, his arm comes clean off.
He then subdues him.
That's his metal arm, by the way.
Yeah, metal arm. Yeah, not the good arm.
No. Well, depends what you think by good arm, Steve. If I had a metal arm that could do that...
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty impressive.
Pretty damn impressive. So yeah, he takes off the iron arm and then beats Bucky to a pulp.
Ooh.
Cap manages to pull him off.
Yep.
Them two then showdown Captain America, Bucky.
Yep.
Fight. Punching. And then they pretty much get to the point where they should stop, but they crack on anyway.
Yeah, they can't.
He manages to... I'm trying to think how the whole choreography was.
Basically, it started off that Iron Man was a bit on top.
Yeah, and then Cap gets on top.
Cap gets on top, and the brutal, mate. He uses his shield, he just smacks him in the chest loads, then smacks him in the face.
He smacks him on the face so many times that he's like... his face just like...
His basically whacks off the face mask on Iron Man's helmet.
And then his last thing is, with his shield, he plunges it into Stark's chest, breaks his arc reactor, and just kind of leaves it there.
And Iron Man looks destroyed.
And he's destroyed. I know that.
He goes, "Put down that shield! You don't deserve that shield!"
And he just goes, "Fuck it, have it, mate."
Yeah, and Captain America does give up his shield, probably because he's a noble man and he's probably ashamed, Steve.
Steve Rogers is a good man.
Yeah.
So then he leaves Stark to it, all beaten and battered. He takes the Winter Soldier. They all clear off.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the whole thing.
That's basically it. Although Steve, at the end, there's a little package that comes for Stark.
Neil Packard. Mr. Oh, what does he call him? It's the big cameo by Stan Lee. Basically, the scene is right after that.
Oh, that's brilliant. Mr. Stank.
Mr. Stank.
Instead of Tony Stark, basically Stan Lee's cameo is as a FedEx guy, I think, delivery guy. He goes, "Are you Mr. Stank?" And he goes, "Yeah, I got a package for you, Mr. Stank." And ever since then,
that's it.
Yeah.
Rhodey says, "You're Mr. Stank forever."
Yeah, because he's basically built Rhodey some legs, or not legs, but like trousers. They look like trousers that help him walk.
Yeah, it's physio stuff to get him back into shape. And inside the package, the package, inside the Jack package, that's from Captain America.
Yep.
Basically saying, Tony, sorry we had to fight. Bucky's innocent. I'm sorry about what happened. Mm-hmm. And then inside,
if you ever need me, give me a call.
Here's an old flip phone.
It was probably from, I'm going to say 2002.
2002. I mean, he's gone
maybe
full
2003.
Retro. Motorola.
It was a Motorola.
But he basically goes, if you need us, we're here.
Give us a call.
Stark looks pretty happy and content with all that.
Yep.
And then the last scene of the film is you go back to the prison.
Ooh.
And where all the other Avengers are held. And basically you see all the guards subdued. Falcon looks up and from the shadows, Captain America's there.
Yeah.
Just Captain America.
Just Cap.
And he goes, I can't remember, it took your time or something like that.
Yeah.
Or basically,
it's
pretty much implied that Cap is...
Sets all the others free.
They're all going to get...
Steve.
Yep.
Post-credit scenes.
Yeah, so that's it.
The first one is kind of a setup to the Black Panther movie.
Yeah, so, well, basically, what ends up happening, you see Bucky, he's okay, missing an arm, so not entirely. 100%.
No, he's not. Yeah.
Probably 80%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, probably about 80%.
You got four limbs and a head, so he's 80%. Well, no, torso. Fuck the torso.
I can't divide 100 by 6. That's mental.
No. Okay. His arm's cut off. Basically, at this point, it's in an installation that looks to be in the jungle, and it's basically Black Panther's.
They're in Wakanda. They're in Wakanda, and it looks like Black Panther's helping out the Avengers.
He is. Well, he's helping out Cap anyway.
And he may be providing aid to the other Avengers as well.
Yeah.
Basically, the Winter Soldier's decided to go back into like sort of cryo sleep because he goes, I can't control what's in my head. I shouldn't be allowed to be wandering about there. Mm-hmm. This will give me time to helpfully work out, and the doctors here can figure out what's going on with me. And then it ends with Captain America thanking Black Panther. They look out, and it's all over Wakanda. And there's a giant picture of a panther, which looks like a great setup for the Black Panther.
Also, just at this point, if I might interject, Steve.
You absolutely can.
There's a... basically, throughout the whole movie, which we neglected to say, there's basically this book that is in it, has got all the words.
No, we covered it. We covered it. The Heath Ledger.
Oh, you talked about that, did you?
We talked about the Heath Ledger, yeah. So basically, he's trying to get all the bad Hydra thoughts and get deprogrammed.
Yeah, so he's basically trying to get all that out of his head, hence going into cryo sleep.
Yeah, and so that's it.
Then, we already sort of talked about the Spider-Man post-credit scene, didn't we? But there's the second post-credit scene, which is right at the end.
Is the
Spider-Man one.
Spider-Man looks into his room, and he sees that...
And looks into his heart, Steve.
Looks into his heart.
Yeah.
Looks into his aunt's eyes and lies. He loves lying to Aunt May.
Yeah, poor Aunt May. She knows. She knows. Takes a lot to get past an auntie, Steve.
Not this auntie.
Especially one as sexy as her.
By the way, if she is sexy.
Sexy.
Oh, it's my short.
She's sexy.
Very sexy. She, I assume Uncle Ben's already dead.
It would be... Well, actually, we also forgot to mention, during the initial scene where Tony Stark meets Peter Parker, he says... what is your motivation for doing what you do? And Peter sort of lies about it, but...
I thought then he was going to say the line.
He was going to say, Uncle Ben is...
Well, I thought he was going to say, Uncle Ben is dead as fuck.
Yeah, Uncle Ben is... if he just went, look, Tony, I've got to tell you, look, Uncle Ben, it's a range of sauces that you put on pasta, like...
Can't get enough of that.
I just can't, do you know what I mean? And then Stark is obviously like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so terrible sauce.
It's just the salt quantity is so high. That could potentially be libelous, by the way.
Yeah, it definitely is. No,
the salt level is acceptable.
Anyway,
he basically...
Ben's dead.
Yeah, Uncle Ben's dead. And he doesn't admit that Uncle Ben's dead. So no one actually ever says Uncle Ben's dead, but it's heavily implied.
He's pretty much going to be dead. So then, like I say, come back to the last scene.
Oh, yeah.
We see that he set him up. Tony Stark set him up with a bit more tech. He's got a whole Spider-Man logo and a whole bunch of stuff going on. Setting up the Spider-Man movie.
It looks a bit like a Batman logo sort of thing, didn't it?
I thought it looked like a Deadpool logo. Because there are talks about a Deadpool Spider-Man crossover at some point.
Oh, savage.
But you'd have to deal with Fox, and they're apparently really difficult to negotiate with.
It's probably more realistic there's a Daredevil Spider-Man crossover. Because...
Well, this is the thing. Apparently...
they cross over a lot in the comics.
They did. Well, first off, the movie ends... Everything ends by saying Spider-Man will return.
Yeah.
And so that's when you get Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
And apparently there are rumours that apparently Michael Keaton's going to be in it.
Yeah.
The bad guy. And then I'd like to see Vincent D'Onofrio come back as Kingpin.
Oh, that'd be great.
Which would be really good, because I thought he was solid in Daredevil.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah, because they've got a lot coming up, because The Punisher's been confirmed now, hasn't he, for his own Netflix series.
Which will be spot on as well. I think that'll be really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much Civil War, great.
Watch it.
Just don't even hesitate. You didn't need us to tell you.
No, you didn't need us to tell you.
But yeah, really, really good.
Yeah.
I thought everything worked well. Are there any other last interesting thoughts or things?
Well, I think I'm now very, very keen for another Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, he's going. Well, they've got Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yep.
But I don't know how that's going to work, because they're now all vigilantes.
They are. I'm assuming that they're going to stick to this timeline, I should say, and that any Ant-Man thing is now going to be set after this, which you would think it has to be, instead of doing like a thing before.
Where was Wasp doing all this stuff?
Basically, the only thing I will say is, the odd thing is there's two sort of... This is almost like an Avengers movie.
Yeah, it's Avengers 2.5.
Yeah.
However...
At the omission of the Hulk and Thor...
Which do get a couple of mentions as well.
They do get some mentions, but it's like... that's all. I don't know what it's like. Very, very obvious that they're not there.
Yeah,
if you get me.
And they do bring up a couple of times. So they go, "How can you keep everyone under command? Can you tell me 100% now where
Thor and Hulk are?
Where Thor and Banner are?" But it's like Act 1 is a Captain America movie. Act 2 is an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Then Act 3 is back to being a Captain America movie.
Yeah, with Iron Man.
Yeah, but tell you what, I thought this was the best we've seen of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. Ever since the first one, and that obviously was brilliant in the first Iron Man.
Yeah.
You see every single side to Tony Stark, and a bit more depth other than just him
being a bit of a quipping, being
every time, but
sarcasm. Sorry, we didn't mention
the scene
the sort of the flashback scene.
Yeah.
There's basically a scene where Tony Stark's doing kind of a presentation to some students at MIT.
Yeah.
And he basically builds this. You don't immediately know it. You think it's a flashback scene.
Well, he said it's made from his memories.
It's made from his memories. He's built this thing where he can build basically a real life looking
it's like a
hologram of the past, and the CGI in that to make Downey Jr. look like a teenager, sort of like an 18, 19-year-old,
excellent,
was brilliant. It looked 100%.
What we were saying, it looks almost like Michael Douglas did at the beginning of Ant-Man.
Yeah,
they de-aged him
exactly,
and that's basically Tony Stark saying. Something he's working on where he's basically saying, I'd love to go back and change my memory so that I didn't have all the repercussions that came afterwards.
And regrets and stuff.
Yeah, and everything else. So it basically shows him where the last time he saw his parents, and he wishes that he'd have told his dad he loved him.
Yeah.
But it's implied that he didn't do that.
Yeah.
And so... Which again, I thought that was a good foreshadowing for the fact that comes back later on. And Winter Soldier kills his parents.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Peggy Carter dies as well.
Peggy Carter. Really, really good scene actually. Where basically,
her funeral.
Yeah, Captain America flies to London, and is basically a pallbearer for her. And then he finds out that Agent Carter, Agent 13, is Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
Is basically Peggy's niece.
Yeah, which again was a nice tie-in.
Yeah, it was a nice little tie-in, and true to the comics.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the Civil War, the comics.
Yeah.
Big comic book spoilers now, which you'll pretty much get over. Captain America dies at Civil War, the comics. Yeah. Crossbones, the villain from the beginning, he brainwashes Sharon Carter to assassinate
Stevie Boy.
Still Stevie Rogers.
Yeah.
And after the Civil War's all done and dusted, she then ends up assassinating him. She then kind of wakes up immediately afterwards from this brainwashed state and is in a fucking mess.
Yeah.
And then the mantle of Captain America goes to the Winter Soldier.
Yep.
Who then has it for a little while. Turns out Steve Rogers isn't really dead. He then comes back later on.
Yeah.
But so that's how Civil War. Because I was convinced that either Stark or Captain America was going to die.
Well, we talked about this before on a podcast. You thought it would be Tony Stark that died.
I thought it would be Tony Stark.
I actually said I didn't think anyone would, but I thought if anyone did, it would be Captain America.
Yeah, you got a good call.
Yeah,
I thought right at the end that one of them two was going to die. I thought at first, because there's a bit where Cap's absolutely pummeling Captain America's pummeling Iron Man.
Yeah.
And I thought that Iron Man was going to kind of lose it and in a kind of panic mode, just do a big blast.
Yeah.
And it was going to kill Steve Rogers. And then that would, moving forward, he'd have all this regret that he's the one responsible. And then there was the bit, that never happened. Then there's a bit when Captain America actually wins the fight, essentially.
Yeah.
And beats Stark. And I thought he was going to go too far.
Yeah, and just lose the plot because he thought that he'd killed Bucky when he knocked his arm off or something.
Yeah, but now that didn't happen.
No.
But I thought it ended on a really strong note. I'm interested to see what comes from the rest of Phase 3.
Yeah, a couple of little things quickly. Red Wing, Falcon's little thing is actually a drone.
He's actually really good in this.
Falcon came out of his shell in this.
Because I've always thought like he was a bit disposable or like a bit... He's a step above Black Widow and Hawkeye. Yeah, but I thought he was really good in this.
He was great.
His little Red Wing little drone was really good as well.
Really, really cool.
Black Panther, again, looked excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the way he would run and everything. It's so smooth.
Well, because Black Panther, he's got the smoothest running.
Yeah.
Now, Black Panther in the comic, he's got his suit, which is like pure vibranium.
Yeah.
And so that pretty much protects him from anything.
Even bullets are pinging off him.
Well, like, there's a helicopter that comes along, and it's like a heavy cal machine gun.
Yeah.
And he's just standing there like,
what are you doing, mate? I've got a vibranium suit on top.
I've got to deal with
wasting your ammo, mate. That's what, 50 quid a round?
Yeah, come
Idiot.
on. Wait, didn't you know I'm like the richest man in any comic ever?
Yeah.
Don't even bother.
Yeah. Oh, what? Bruce Wayne? Bruce Wayne? He's a peasant.
Bruce who?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm T'Challa.
Yeah, T'Challa. You're who? T'Challa?
Black Panther.
No, I've never heard of you, mate. Were you in any of the Avengers movies?
Well, no, Avengers 2.5. You mean Civil War?
Civil War. Oh, you're nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Also, just for the nerdier ones of us out there, Spider-Man's webbage, it's clear that it's actually from cartridge, so it's not like...
Which is bloody good.
Yeah, which is better. And he's also built as like a little genius. Ditched the fucking camera, thank Christ. So at the moment, there's no little camera.
It's implied with the cameras because of his
goggles.
lenses. Because his sensors go a little bit too... He said at one... Peter Parker says at one point, my sensors go a bit... I can take in too much.
Yeah.
And so he's got these goggles that help him focus.
Yeah.
Obviously, on the improved suit that Stark makes for him, these are like photoscopic lenses, which give him the appearance of having animated eyes, which I thought, again, was a nice touch.
Yeah. His suit was actually really cool.
I think it's the best suit they've ever had.
Yeah. And he's like a 15-year-old kid in this as well, so it's really, really cool.
Well, that's the thing. Tom Holland's so young. If they do it well, this can just be such a big franchise going forward. But in the rest of the Marvel lineup, we've got Doctor Strange coming out later on this year.
Yeah.
Which looks great.
That's going to be great as well. Benedict Cumberbatch as well is a good casting for that.
Well, that's the thing. Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman now in this universe, so they've got to meet up at some point.
Yeah, and solve crimes.
Yeah, probably they'll do that together.
Yeah. Take on Moriarty.
Well, they kind of met in the Hobbit trilogy. Didn't solve crimes as much as have a bit of an argue. Yeah. And one tried to kill the other.
Yeah, but he was a dragon, wasn't he?
He was a dragon about.
Bit of a dragon there.
And then that's what we've got. We've got Doctor Strange and then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
I'm buzzing for Guardians of the Galaxy number 2 next year.
Well, I'm buzzing for that. Spiderman Homecoming, I think they're going to knock out the park. That'll be good.
And Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok is the next one coming up. And apparently this is going to have really big repercussions. This is that one apparently will change the whole ball game. It's going to be as big because Winter Soldier brought down the end of S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything else and sent like big waves throughout that entire world.
Yeah.
Apparently Ragnarok's going to be on that scale, and he's got the Hulk with him as well.
He has. Oh yeah, he has. I think Ragnarok's going to be. Do you know what I think? I think they're going to tie a little bit. Now maybe I'm going a bit off kilter here.
Probably a bit off kilter.
But there's this whole sort of side of the story where like Hulk in space, or whatever.
I think World War Hulk.
World War Hulk. Yeah. I think they're going to sort of slightly sort of not veer to it, but a little homage to it. I think Thor and Hulk are going to basically come across Thanos.
That is pretty much the way it looks like, because we're not going to see Thanos we'll see him in Guardians of the Galaxy. I have no doubt. He'll appear or something.
He always sort of appears.
But then I don't think we'll see him in Doctor Strange. I don't think we'll see him in Spider-Man.
No.
And just before Infinity War, he's got to be built up as a bit more of a villain.
Yeah, and Ragnarok's the perfect thing to do that.
Because then the only thing then it goes... So after this, we've got Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, and then we're on Infinity War.
Yeah, so we're getting that. So we've got, 4 movies before? Or 5.
Yeah.
But basically Black Panther and Spider-Man are not going to be related to that. They're going to be self-contained. Actually, Doctor Strange, because it's kind of like... Well, it's his sort of... What would you call it? It's his introduction. It's his origin film. So it's basically going to be self-contained.
Yeah, that's a great thing they've managed to move on this as well. We already kind of had the origins for Spider-Man and Black Panther.
Yeah, it's assumed.
Because I just couldn't deal. The worst thing they could do with this Spider-Man now is
another origin where Uncle Ben
getting bit by the spider at Oscorp. Uncle Ben dying. Struggling to go through designing the suit. It just you don't need it anymore.
No, it's the whole always Act 1, and it's just annoying. So now that's already implied. Spider-Man is ready to go out in the world and start shooting webs at shit.
You've got to give Marvel their dues. They just nail it. Every single move.
I think it's Kevin Feige.
He knows what he's doing.
I think he...
And they got rid of Carl Perlmutter, which was the old guy in charge, and he was the one who was financing all these movies and deciding what funding went where.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was kicking off about having to pay Robert Downey Jr. to get involved in this movie.
Really?
He didn't want it to happen because it was going to cost too much. Kevin Feige then went over his head, went to the head of Disney,
and
then said, "Nope, I can't deal with this anymore. You've got a guaranteed hit on your hands. if you don't have Downey Jr. in it, it's going to ruin it. And now Kevin Feige has way more creative control.
Awesome.
So then that's when they then manage afterwards to get the deal with Spider-Man and deal with Sony, because this guy, this old financier, basically
he's buggered off.
They got him out of the way.
Oh.
And I mean, if you look back at like their worst movies, what's the worst Marvel movies?
What of the Daredevil?
Well, are you talking cinematic universe? So
in the MCU.
Iron Man onwards, I'd say it's probably Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2.
A lot of people don't like Iron Man 3, but I think Iron Man 3 is still solid.
Incredible Hulk is...
That's the only ones. Incredible Hulk and Iron Man 2. Everything else
has been really solid.
Works. I mean, there are forgettable...
I'm trying to think of...
There's forgettable villains, what out of Thor 2.
Yeah, I mean, he was really sort of... That was Chris Eccleston, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you just...
Yeah, played that really Dark Elf... Malekith or something. Yeah. And he was...
But other than them, considering how many movies is it now? I think this is the 11th one.
Yeah. Brilliant. I mean, even because like Guardians of the Galaxy, I thought Guardians of the Galaxy was it was brilliant, but it was also a bit of a leap of faith because...
Oh yeah, they had no clue what was going to work.
Because it's completely removed. It's not set on Earth for a start.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
So it was completely removed, but that worked.
Yeah, it definitely worked.
So, anyway, all in all, Steve...
Spot on. Great movie. I'd give it...
Well, how much would you give it out of 13, Steve?
I would give it a gold star and 2 thumbs up.
Ooh. Steve, what are we going to... Because this is our first movie review.
We've never really had a rating system, have we?
We need to develop a rating system. So, out of your 5 full crumpets, what would you give this film out of 5 crumpets?
I would give it 5 crumpets and a bagel.
5 crumpets and a bagel. I was going to give it 5 crumpets and too much butter. And
too much butter?
Too much butter in the sense that it's so good, you have to have more butter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm going to go with, I like that. That works.
Okay.
And it's definitely my crumpets. My 5 crumpets I've awarded it. I've got loads of butter.
Okay.
But I also... It's given me a bagel. It's given me my Black Panther.
It's given
me bait to move on to my next...
You can have your crumpet and eat it, if you will, Steve.
Yeah. But all in all, great film. Great
film.
Balance.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch it. Stop listening to us and just
go watch it. What are you listening to this shit for? But please like and subscribe.
Definitely. Right, well, thanks for listening, guys.
And comment. If you want to comment, please comment.
Comment to be nice.
Be nice. If you're not nice, it's cool also, because I laugh at it.
If you'd like to send us some abuse as well, we're at The Crumpet Chronicle, all one word,
at
gmail.com.
Say that again, Steve.
The Crumpet Chronicle
at
gmail.com. Smooth. We've also got a Facebook page as well, so go check that out. And that's pretty much it.
Yep.
Our next episode should be our Game of Thrones review.
Yeah.
It'll be the next Game of Thrones review.
Ooh.
And then we'll have episode 3 up next week as well.
Yep.
We're there.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Like and subscribe. Thanks for listening.
Have a good one. Enjoy Civil War.
Yeah. See you later, Crumpeteers.
See you, Crumpeteers. You got it in this time.
Crumpets.
Die.
Bye.
Bye.